Seeing Quantel for the first time was, that was real different.
April 19th, 2016. The trial begins. The victims' families find themselves sitting just a few feet away from the alleged shooter, Quantel Alverson.
I'm sitting there in the courtroom, emotionless, nothing on his face. He didn't look like he was very sorry about anything.
The prosecution calls the woman who ID'd Quantel in the getaway car.
She was the critical witness who definitely laid eyes on Quantel Alverson, and she could describe him in fairly good detail. The fact that she could put him behind the wheel of a car and provide a tag that we can then connect to him through DNA, powerful evidence. And then obviously the defense's argument is, well, it's not like it seems. You can't rely on what she had to say.
The eyewitness is grilled under cross-examination by defense attorney Rob Nye.
The defense is trying to say this is just a mistake. She couldn't have seen what she saw, or the DNA doesn't mean what it means, and so therefore that must mean something, that my guy didn't commit this crime. And Quantel, he did not do himself any favors by trying to distance himself from Larry Douglas, Dale Childers, pretending like he didn't know those guys when we had video footage of him the day before and the morning of, and just totally destroyed his credibility.
After 4 days of testimony, both the prosecution and defense rest, and the fate of Quantel Alverson is in the hands of the jury.
I just wanted to get Quantel convicted, because I knew if we had got him convicted, then there's a chance we could get Larry.
You know, when you send a jury behind closed doors, you always know, well, there's a chance we might get a jury that's going to get hung up, or there's a chance that maybe the jury's going to be unanimous for innocence.
Carol asked me, coming down for the verdict? I said, nope. I've never done it before. I'm not going to jinx it this time. If I heard not guilty, it probably really upset me.
The deliberation took a while. There was a little rest area with a table and vending machine, and we sat in there and waited for the verdict.
For 4 hours, the jury deliberates, until finally, the judge reads the verdict. Quantel Alverson is found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder.
When I heard that they had found him guilty, it was satisfying.
We were all pretty happy with the verdict. I think we all clapped at the end.
Quantel receives 2 sentences of life without parole, but to some, justice still hasn't been fully served.
I firmly believe in an eye for an eye. He took my daughter's life. His should have been taken too.
The goal is that he can't hurt anyone else. And Mr. Alverson would not be walking out amongst us.
You know in the back of your head that there's more than just that one person that had something to do with it.
I don't think there's anybody involved in this case that doesn't struggle with the fact that there are unresolved or unanswered questions when it comes to these 2 murders.
The most frustrating thing was not being able to get Larry for the murder. But Larry got 21 years in a federal prison where I don't think he's having a very good time right now. I was eligible to retire in 2016, 35 years ago. We're still working with this. Didn't want to leave until that was finished. I wanted to see Larry for a wedding. Larry's been doing this kind of stuff, selling dope, intimidating people for 25 years. Nobody else got it. We got it. Did what we had to do off the street.
Detective Zanoni retired, knowing that Quantel Alverson and Larry Douglas were in prison. But the families of Amanda and Jennifer still grapple with their loss.
My son got me this with a piece of my heart. Think about birthing the child. Teaching it to walk.
grow up. Either they're just snatched from you. But, you know, I have to go on. I have to go on every day. I guess they thought having it easier. Me is really the reason that I actually do get up every day. Because when you don't find happiness or joy in your life, it's hard. Only because idle hands is the devil's workshop. I know you're hungry.
A beloved man is murdered under a bridge next to his girlfriend.
I heard Sean crying, calling out for help.
I went to sleep that night and never woke up.
He's accused of 3 different attacks on the homeless.
There was a major red alert among the homeless.
With the killing spree underway,
This was a hunter looking for prey.
police band together with the homeless community
I gotta get him off the streets, and if witnesses like you that are gonna be able to do that.
to put the suspect behind bars
You see that same white truck? Make sure to call us and get a tag.
before he kills again.
This guy's not gonna stop until we stop him.
And then, with the trial coming up,
He thought he was gonna beat it because the witnesses weren't gonna show up.
You ain't got nothing on me.
Time is your enemy when it comes to witnesses who are transient.
If we can't get anyone to show up to court, we may lose the case.
for those most affected by a homicide, the first 48 is just the beginning. This is the story of the fight for justice in the weeks, months, and years after the first 48.
Okay, so what's the address of your emergency? This is John 360 Alicia. We're homeless. Like Brandon Barry, right down the sidewalk, under the bridge. Visibly bad.
I think the animals on the way. You see a way?
Yes.
Yeah, remains. And a man and a woman seriously injured. They rushed into the hospital. But the man dies.
We got told of a hit and run where the victim ended up dying. Don't know if it's a drunk driver ran off the road. But if officers to call us in, something suspicious. The first time was sitting right here by the door. They up against the wall. So this impact hits this guy who ends up down there on the other side of that walker. You see where all the blood is. Oh my gosh. When this happened, I'd been in the homicide unit for approximately about a year. It was one of my first major cases. And it's one of the ones you're going to remember. I'm Detective Max Ryden. I've been on the department for 25 years. We approach every case and tell us the same, that everybody deserves justice. The homeless can't really speak for themselves a lot of times. You get a little more invested in it.
Victim that's dead is a Sean Berto.
46-year-old Sean Berto worked odd jobs and stayed with family. But sometimes he chose to sleep in shelters or on the street. Sean and his girlfriend, Diane Wallace, were engaged to be married.
Female was, I guess, on the second pillow. The girl's in the hospital? Yeah.
The second victim, Sean's girlfriend, Diane, has several broken ribs and a punctured lung.
And she's stable condition now. And then our third guy was up there about where those black marks were. So did 3 people get hit?
Officers transport the third victim, who has minor injuries, to homicide.
Yeah. I think that looks really... There's one little tire track. Looks like car came up, turned, hit the curb a little bit as he's trying to turn onto the sidewalk. Goes through here. Goes in between the pole and the wall. Like, you avoided this? Oh. You couldn't do this unless you tried. I would have thought if he came off at all, he got stuck. Right, he would have been stuck. So he was intentionally sober enough not to hit the wall. I haven't seen a mark yet on the wall from the car. And he didn't fall in this. So that's a pretty meticulous driving. I thought, well, at first maybe we got a drunk driver just accidentally did something, but this is too specific. He knew where he was going. There was such a narrow gap for the car. It had been the worst luck on the planet, or this was a direct intentional act. And after walking it, I felt like it had to be intentional. There's a one right up there. Go. We'll get the video.
As the team works on getting surveillance video from John 316 Mission, the homeless shelter near the crime scene.
I'm gonna go downtown with Justin and interview witnesses, then go to the hospital and go from there. Okay. I have no idea why you want to kill homeless people. That's the $1 million question right now.
Two hours in,
James?
detectives hope the third victim, James Russell, got a look at the suspect.
So tell me about this morning. What happened?
I was asleep. I was laying against the wall. I couldn't get a room because I got there too late.
James describes what he saw moments after Sean was hit.
I woke up to a crash, opened my eyes. Before I could figure out what was going on, the wave was going past me. Someone hit me in the knee. And there was screaming, yelling. This man, and there was all bloody, like he had just been struck by something. And the woman's crying out. I managed to get to my feet, walk around 316, and ask them there to dial 911.
Did you see the vehicle?
I didn't know. I have to tell you, I had to guardian angel or something. This thing should have killed me. You think this guy maybe ate someone's teeth?
I don't know. Where will you go now? Because I don't want you to be the next person. If this guy just is out to kill homeless people, I don't want you getting run over.
Yeah, I want to go back to 316 and try to get there.
Okay.
Ryden hopes the second witness, who was sleeping near the bridge, got a look at the suspect's vehicle.
Tell me about this morning. What did you see?
I was very close to the bridge, but not under the bridge. I had a nightmare. I woke up. It was almost daylight. Passing a white truck go by on the road. You know, first, when it passed me, I saw him come back up to the sidewalk.
He says the white truck circled around the block and came back.
He came up the road and up to the sidewalk and ran over 2 people. Actually went and took the both of them, woman and man.
Did you watch him do that?
I saw him do it.
So you saw him twice. Once drive around, once after he hit the people.
Yeah.
Anything distinct about it other than a white truck?
Before the windscreen, he was smashed.
Before or after they hit the people?
Before,
How about the man?
one man, he was very confused what happened.
Had you ever seen that man before?
Yeah.
Is there a reason this white truck should have run them over?
I don't know. She didn't phone. He offered me cigarettes.
So they were nice.
They were like, yeah.
I I don't know why this happened, so be diligent of where you're sleeping. And if you see that same white truck, make sure to call us and get a tag. I need to find that white truck, and I don't want him hurting anybody else today.
Thank you. 3 hours into the first 48.
Okay, we got a video.
Video from John 3:16 mission comes in.
Sure. Wow. That's the truck. God! Since I've only been in the unit for approximately a year, seeing someone get killed on video and seeing how intentional it was, you actually get to see the evil happen in front of you. So I was shocked to actually see how bad it was.
See if you can just roll that back.
There's a couple sleeping right here. It was right between a pillar and the wall. He was actually on the curb. God, he just done the hell of it and took off.
It's like an older Toyota Tacoma.
Looks like it's got bed liner in the back.
I think that the top right of that windshield is broke. I think a rock hit it, and I think that circle you see is the pipe.
It's like a tattoo. We're gonna know we have the right car because of that. I want to call a hospital, see if this girl can talk to us.
I kept asking, where's Sean? Where is he? Chaplain came into my room, and that's what he told me, that Sean didn't make it. And so I had to call his sister and tell her that her brother was dead. My name is Diane Wallace, and I was Sean's fiance, girlfriend. He was a good person. He was a very good person. Very protective of me.
The night of his murder, Sean could have stayed with family, but he chose to stay with Diane.
He was like, no, I'm not gonna leave her here by herself. I did not become homeless of an addiction. It was more financial. I was already having problems with the apartment manager, and I wound up on the street. That particular night, I had some people steal some stuff from us, so we decided to move. Sean was real tired. With the lights being up under the bridge, I was reading. It was about midnight, so I closed the book, turned over beside him, went to sleep, and a couple of hours later, the unspeakable happened. I heard this boom, bang. I heard Sean crying, calling out for help. And I told him, I said, baby, don't worry, I got somebody going to John 3:16 to get help. That's basically all I remember. I thought, like everybody else did, that it was just somebody leaving the club and was drunk and got reckless and ran us over.
5 hours into the investigation, after speaking with Diane,
He doesn't know anything about a white truck or why anybody would want to run them over. We got absolutely no motive. It was fortunate that Sean's girlfriend was able to give us a background to him and that he didn't have any enemies. It's very odd for someone to get killed by someone they don't know.
a few hours later, Ryden gets a call from patrol.
Okay, I'm headed out there. Same car hit another person downtown.
Behind a convenience store.
How many people got hit on this? Just her.
Ryden speaks with Jackie, the boyfriend of the latest hit-and-run victim.
I think she let that game decided. Do her thing. And drove on the curb and ran on the girl.
Did she already go to the hospital?
Yeah, she ran out right now.
The victim, a 44-year-old woman, has several cracked ribs and a punctured lung.
It's probably related to your homicide earlier in the day. That's where it really ramped up.
I'll tell them to ask you to get video.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you come down and talk to me at Detective Vision because someone died earlier and this man is trying to target homeless people. I gotta get him off the streets, and that's witnesses like you that are gonna be able to do that. In Tulsa, we're very fortunate. We have amazing witnesses and citizens in Tulsa, especially in the homeless community. Okay, Jack. I appreciate you coming down.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you saw.
I seen the truck. The car and ran over him.
Did you see the truck before?
This morning. The same truck.
How do you know it's the same truck?
He started on me this morning first.
Jackie says the same man assaulted her at the bus stop in a convenience store a half hour before Sean was killed.
Yes, the psycho. I said, police. And then he jumped his ass in the truck and took off.
So you have 3 different incidents. This guy's not going to stop until we stop him.
Ten hours in, Corporal Nathan Shilton returns with video from the convenience store.
So here's, I believe it's this one. Actually, yeah. Right here. They said he went a little slow around the corner and then he blended.
They pulled into the California. You see here, she actually saw it coming. You can see her lean back at the very last minute.
That's a killer. This was a hunter looking for prey. You go back to 5:30 this morning. Jack was attacked at the bus stop. Dan thinks it's the same truck.
On another camera from the store.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm still in the same car.
Duke's laying down on the bench.
The driver of the truck approaches Jackie.
Right here he says, "Hey man, what's up?" And then he pulls out the rod immediately. Yeah, there he goes. He hit him in the shoulder. He was big enough, he was able to fight him off.
I think now we've got media.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Nate will have some kind of tip sheet with pictures so you can get to the media.
Ryden updates the department's public information officer.
Basically, we need to put it on blast and make sure by 10 o'clock they all run it as their top story if possible. Basically, you got a guy that's trying to kill homeless people all day long. Thanks. Bye.
Stephanie Cook lost her brother Sean Monday morning and said with his killer unknown, she couldn't sleep.
He hurt real bad. The shot in the earth, they shot him with everybody.
A man intentionally ran over the couple with his truck. 2 hit and runs within the last 12 hours. He's already hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in less than 24 hours.
And that's when people realize, look, we have someone who is on a killing spree and trying to kill as many homeless people apparently as he's able to.
There was a major red alert among the homeless. My name is Reverend Steve Whitaker. I'm the senior pastor and CEO John 316 mission. I've been working with the homeless for decades. We did our very best to get the word out. All that time feeling not just sick about what had happened to Sean Berta, but concerns about others. I started making phone calls, struggling with how do we take care of the rest of the homeless, because this perpetrator was still at large.
Hope that every resource the police department has, even the chief of police was out here pulling cars over. Not as important as it gets when you get someone like this that's willing to do anything to innocent people.
20 hours in.
I want you guys to be very careful. These guys hit 2 people in this parking lot.
Okay. What was on the car?
It's in a white truck. We're going to build relationships with the homeless community, so if they saw that vehicle, they would call us immediately. So you guys be careful, okay? This guy's still out, and the vehicle hadn't been found. I was afraid anybody was walking the streets, that even appear homeless, could be the next victim.
After getting the tragic news, Sean's family struggles to make sense of what happened that night.
My last conversation with him was from fussing with him about getting home. And then the next call I got, he was gone.
I just missed him calling me just to say, hey, niece, I was seeing if I could come over for the weekend or something. Yeah, I'll be right there. Then when I pull up, he said, hey, niecey poo. We go to the house and we have a good time. He always asked if we need anything, and he used to always come around the house, cut her grass for her, and even when he wasn't doing too good himself, he would still go out his way to help him. He would get the shirt off his back if you had to.
Day 2 of the investigation.
We got a suspect vehicle we're looking for.
As Ryan and the homeless community search for leads, Highway Patrol finds an abandoned white truck.
Smashed windshield. It's gonna be our truck. 91 Toyota. That's the moment you kind of look for as a detective, finding the suspect vehicle. Your adrenaline goes up, you're excited. We got officers on scene, ran the tag, and it checks to Jeremy Thacker.
Ryden sends the Warrenson squad to the address that police have for Jeremy Thacker.
Hopefully we'll get him in custody pretty soon and see what he has to say for himself. In custody yet?
When Jeremy sees the police in his driveway, he comes out and turns himself in.
How's it going?
According to neighbors, they last saw Jeremy driving a white truck the day before.
I appreciate your cooperation. Head down to Tech Division to talk to Mr. Thacker. Yeah, he's got a history.
40-year-old Jeremy Thacker has prior convictions for assault with a dangerous weapon and resisting arrest. He is currently unemployed, but had worked as a plumber.
Jeremy, I'm Detective Ryan with Detective Schilling. What's going on? We're working some cases and you come up in those investigations. What's going on? Well, I'll go into that. First, I need to ask you some questions. No questions I ask are meant to be insulting. I ask everybody. Are you prescribing any medication you're supposed to take from a doctor? Yes. And what is that for, sir? It's for bipolar 2. When was the last time you took that medication? So you're not taking that medication today, is that affecting what you're thinking? Talking to me, do you understand what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay. I've done this for over 20 years. There's always two sides of every storyline. They not go with just one side of the story. You want to talk to me today? I'm going to talk about my investigation. I think I'm going to go ahead and get an attorney. That's totally fine. I thought Jeremy was angling towards probably a mental defense. He knows exactly what he did that day was wrong, and that's the reason he tried to cover it up.
34 hours into the first 48, Ryden has his suspect off the streets. Jeremy Thacker is charged with first-degree murder, 4 counts of assault and battery, and assault with a dangerous weapon.
FGTV Songs
4 years after
2017.
Diane remembers learning about Thacker's arrest.
When they caught it, old wise person told me to put it in God's hands. And they're going to get what's coming to them in due time. I take it one day at a time. God does things for a reason. And if I could bring Sean back, I would. But I can't. I keep this key on my keychain because this is the key that went to his bike. He's run errands for people. Go to the store, get them whatever they wanted or needed. Ever since 2018, I got him birthday cards. Happy birthday in heaven, baby. Love your wife tight.
Days after Thacker's arrest, another anonymous tip points Ryden to a member of Thacker's family who agrees to talk.
So I learned today you had information possibly in reference to Jeremy Thacker. Tell me what you know in reference him getting arrested recently.
He came by the house, wants to say that I'm ready to go. He seems kind of nervous. Yeah.
He says he spoke to Thacker 16 hours after Sean's murder.
The landlord was like, you did what? I was just puzzled. I didn't want to think about it.
Have you ever made any derogatory comments about homeless people?
Well, I have a few times going to Quick Trip, maybe a few mask change, they go off. If you get your job, so the bitch off like that.
Okay.
If you really know somebody, you really know.
That same day.
This is a prepaid call from
Jeremy?
an inmate at the Tulsa County Detention Center.
Hello. Hi. What are you doing? I'm sitting in my cell. Get fatness now. How you be sitting, eating, laugh, and all that stuff? I'm pleading not guilty, of course. Of course, yeah. Just to let you know. Yeah. They ain't got nothing on me. Don't talk about the case, remember? You didn't do it? I don't believe you did. That's not the Jeremy I knew.
As Ryden continues to build the case for the DA.
The impact team found a report of a guy that got hit on Sunday night.
The Impact Unit, which does outreach with the homeless community, notifies the showing of a hit-and-run victim from the night before Sean was killed.
We went up to the hospital. He's got a broken pelvis, 3 broken ribs. Says, man, I was walking down the sidewalk, so that's going to fit with the intentional acts on these other ones. Don't have a very good vehicle description, but he says that he rolls up on the vehicle into the windshield.
So that would explain why Mr. Thacker's windshield's all messed up. It's very odd for someone to get killed by someone they don't know. There's so few and far between. I'm just curious why he could have run over the homeless people and get the thrill from that. Eventually, I talked to his family.
Another anonymous tip points Ryden to a member of Thacker's family who agrees to talk.
Who's that? It's my cousin. Nothing where they have prepared us for any. We're still far away.
I want to go a little background.
He had periodic spells like within the last, let's say, 3-4 years maybe, where he's hitting people on the face and stuff. I witnessed it.
Tell me the ones you witnessed.
Well, I went into a Quick Trip and I come back out. This guy standing in the doorway, the guy hit me. That's the first one.
Was this a stranger?
Yeah, they told him. So I was like, why would you do that?
And what did he say?
He said that when he was staring at him, I said, you can't go around doing that.
Before then, did he have any like fights like this?
Nope, he was always a comedian. Like, Jeremy started changing the last few 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I don't know how much he lives with every day.
Right.
You know,
The relative wonders how much of family tragedy has impacted Thacker.
when he was a little kid, his dad had killed himself.
How old was he?
8 or 9. Yeah. And he opened the door, seen his dad lying. You gotta believe me, I was shocked.
His family, I think they realized, they finally came to accept that he had done what he did.
Since Jeremy's arrest, the district attorney's office has been working with investigators.
The case was filed in September, and the preliminary hearing was set in November. I had a short period of time.
Assistant District Attorney Becky Johnson assembles the evidence for the preliminary hearing, when a judge will determine if the case can go to trial.
Honestly, the evidence was fantastic in this case.
What
The hard
address is the
part
FGT
was going
house?
to be identification, which you have to prove. It's hard to say who was the person driving the vehicle, right? We do end up having a lot of witnesses, but most of them were homeless, and you may not be able to find them. Time is your enemy when it comes to witnesses who are transient, because every one of them was homeless. I knew that I had a very short timeline of trying to get their testimony.
I got a call. Becky Johnson said, hey, we really need some help finding these witnesses, some of the victims.
ADA Becky Johnson worries that her witnesses won't show up to the preliminary hearing, so she enlists the help of Lieutenant Brandon Davis of the Tulsa PD Impact Unit.
We're worried that if we can't get anyone to show up to court, we may lose the case. I said, hey, why don't you guys just hop in the car with us and we'll go find them.
2 days before the preliminary hearing, Assistant DA Johnson hits the streets with the Impact Unit, hoping to find the 6 witnesses and surviving victims to testify.
Several guys were in their cars looking at the different places and then radioing back to you.
So yeah, right here where we're at, we are literally a block south of the crime scene. Some of them work temp jobs, so we knew what time they hit the bus station.
That's where we found a couple of witnesses.
Yeah, and Jackie caught him changing buses to go to work.
Jackie.
FGTV's old childhood house.
To testify.
Mr. Russell was at the iron gate.
They find James Russell, a witness to
FGTV's old childhood house.
Seemed like we were just finding one after the other.
We were able to interview everyone, got their subpoenas to them so that they knew when to come to court and everything.
House.
They track down a critical witness.
House.
Thacker's first victim, a 65-year-old man, hit the day before Sean's murder.
The first victim was simply walking home from the store to his apartment when Thacker jumped the curb and intentionally hit this man. He hits the windshield. He has shattered pelvis and he's got quite severe injuries. When he was able to talk to detectives, he advised that he was wearing a red shirt. And the vehicle, when it was finally discovered, did have a piece of red cloth that was still embedded in the windshield.
The red shirt connects Thacker's truck to one of his victims.
We were able to find him.
We didn't have to convince him to do anything. When do I show up to court?
The prosecution still lacks a witness who can ID Thacker as Sean's killer.
The sister said they basically can't show for sure that that's even you in the video.
Oh, it's in a parking lot, big deal.
I gotta be able to prove without a doubt that that was you in front of the
Thacker made a lot of jail calls, like excessive number of jail calls. I just remember him being like going to be able to pull this off. I'm going to get away with this.
A couple of witnesses could turn the case around for the prosecution.
His neighbors put him in the suspect vehicle during the time frame of the murder, that the windshield was broken out.
Soon, Thacker's confidence is threatened. When he learns from a relative that his neighbors spoke to the DA.
I showed them a video of portrait where somebody seen almost got with the bike, and they said that was you without a doubt.
Damn, they're my worst enemy.
I said, well, you know you're going to have to get on the stand and say that crap when all this comes forth. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if you let somebody borrow your truck or you don't know what happened or whatever, but that's the deal.
I listened to enough of his jail calls, and he did not give a damn about what he had done to people. It was all just about how am I going to get the fewest number of days if I do go to prison.
With the preliminary hearing approaching, Jeremy calls his neighbors to find out what they told investigators.
Hello. Hello, Jeremy.
Damn, hey.
But we both had to go in there and do like a sit-down thing.
Their cameras are real. They said the thing, you know, you don't know who the was, and y'all were selling them in the meat.
We went there and seen a couple videos.
So what?
The one I seen is
I don't need that kind of, man. You know what? That wasn't me.
The neighbors were extremely cooperative during the investigation. That they observed Dr. Jeremy all the time, and they would even call from like bars on video chats. So it's very strange.
On the 30th of November, the preliminary hearing begins.
I remember Thacker almost being like, I'm going to get away with this, overconfident about what was going to happen in that courtroom. There's a little bit of anxiety in that you're able to get justice on this one.
The prosecution calls Thacker's first victim to testify about what he saw in the moments leading up to being hit.
He was walking home from the store to his apartment.
A noise made him turn and look. He saw the front of a white truck as he hit the windshield.
He was very reliable, and the shattered windshield was a really good tie back to the likelihood that most of the attacks was by Mr. Thacker's vehicle. The hard part was that it was a whodunit, and it's one of the elements that you have to prove in front of a judge.
But the first victim didn't get a look at the driver, so prosecutors turned to Jeremy's neighbors, hoping they could place him on the scene.
They were eventually going to testify.
The neighbors admit the truck in a surveillance video the victim is attacked at a convenience store looks like Jeremy's. But they refuse to confirm that it's Jeremy in the video.
The neighbors started being on Team Jeremy instead of Team Falstaff.
On December 1st, 2017, the judge makes his decision. The case will go to trial in June 2019. Now, with Becky Johnson moving into a new position, ADA Mark Collier takes over the case.
We had him attempting to hide the truck. We had fiber evidence on the windshield of this truck that matched fiber evidence from the very first incident. There were also critical witnesses that were all homeless. Becky and police officers were able to get all of their testimony on record at the preliminary hearing. When you add all of those things together, it's a good case.
Just 2 weeks before trial, Collier gets an unexpected request from Thacker's attorney.
Got a call from the defense attorney. He indicated that his client wanted to enter a plea deal.
Now, Collier has a decision to make.
We have to weigh being guilty versus even a small risk of losing the trial. worry about that.
My biggest concern was if we couldn't find the witnesses for the trial.
I was prepared for the trial, but